Right. Very, very critical interventions right there on matters countering climate change. And I know this is one of the areas that we'll touch on when you discuss matters insurance and emerging issues that will shape the year 2024. Right now, I'm joined by Shoksha, who's the Group CEO, Apollo Group. Good to see you, sir. It's almost a year.
Yes.
Looking sharp as always. I mean, just looking at the past year, Mr. Shah, how, as an industry player, how did you guys close the year?
I think the year has closed well. There has been growth in the insurance sector, which means that there is more business that's coming in. The insurers are penetrating much larger populations. You said earlier on that we have a 3%. We basically only have 3% of the population which are taking out insurance. But we are trying to see how we can improve that. And we're looking at new areas, new ideas of making sure that we can go to the people who actually do not know about insurance. The two areas that we as APA are working on is one is the MSMEs, to see if we can convince them to take out covers. And the other areas is farmers both for crop and livestock, to give them better covers and really improve their livelihood.
Okay, that's very critical. You've mentioned those two areas as some of the sectors that hold so much potential.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about MSMEs, because I mean they form majority of our businesses. But unfortunately also is one of the most neglected sectors, unfortunately. But let's start with the issue of farmers, which is very interesting because you guys have been using technology. Talk about the issue of weather index-based insurance. Talk to me about this, especially in an environment where we've had El Nino. How has been the product inquisitiveness and also uptake?
The El Nino, if we come to the El Nino, because it's going on right now, in some areas it's been beneficial, in other areas it's been devastating. Now what's happening is that if you look at, say, Machakos, where you will find that there are a lot of places at this time they would have had problems with water. Machakos, and it looks green completely, and there's lots of maize that is growing there. So El Nino has been beneficial. But what is happening is that we have moved away from weather index to area yield. We provide covers area yield index. So what we do is that we moved away from a single. We do not cover just rainfall. We now give the farmers full cover for all the perils. So it would be weather, it would be infestation, or it could be some other peril that would affect the farmer. So we are giving them much more larger covers, and we are trying to increase the number of farmers that take it out. So we go in with aggregators, and we support the aggregators to go to more farmers. For example, we've done about a million farmers, smallholder farmers, and we would like to see if we can increase that the number of smallholder farmers taking out insurances. And so we will be looking at about 2 million plus, but we'd like to grow because that is the economy. The smallholder farmers actually form a very large portion of the agricultural sector.
Yes.
And we would like to show them that insurance helps them. The thing that we've not been able to do with smallholder farmers is cover their crops. The aggregators give them loans for inputs, but unfortunately they cannot give them crop cover. So we are trying to see if we can get donors to come in and provide support to the farmers so that we can actually insure their crop, and then the farmers will have a yield, a guaranteed yield every year, every season.
Okay.
Yes.
Because the issue of crop coverage, I mean, looking at the globe,
Yes.
and the way when it comes to covering the agriculture sector, because now we're talking about food security,
Yes.
and insurance sector is actually a critical piece.
That's right.
Come to think about it. And since majority of our food that we consume in the country
Yes.
is coming from smallholder farmers, it seems very imperative. Maybe other than donors, what can be done to break that ceiling so that every farmer, especially small farmers,
Yes.
are guaranteed their crops to be covered?
Yes. The counties have come in a very good way. We have now started working with at least 2 counties, and the 2 counties have actually given funding for the farmers to get full cover. So they get full crop cover. So we give them a yield of 70%. So whatever happens to their crop, if they have a lower yield than 70%, we will make sure that they get the balance of the money from the insurer. And as an insurer, we have 7 companies supporting us to insure those farmers.
Okay.
So the counties will, in fact, if the number of counties start doing this, then you will find that more and more farmers are able to get crop cover.
Why aren't the counties taking up this opportunity? Only 2 out of 47.
Well, I think what's happening is that we hope that the neighboring counties will see what's happening and they will support. But the counties obviously we have to sell the idea, the product to the counties, and we are busy to doing that, and we also have to. The other part that we have to get support from is the Ministry of Agriculture, because the Ministry of Agriculture also has got support to farmers that they will give, and so the more farmers get the support, the more counties will also come in.
All right. And a huge interest has also been developed in the pastoralist world.
Yes.
Talk to me about those interventions and how they're faring on right now.
Well, the pastoralists, especially in northern Kenya, we started insuring them about more than 10 years ago. And we had this, what we call the cover for the forage on the ground. And we did, for 10 years, the exercise went on and it became successful. Now it's been taken over by the World Bank. And the World Bank has not only expanded it into Kenya, but it's expanded it to the region, to the 5 regions. So what that area is where technology is being used, and we use satellite scanning to make sure that the farmers, the pastoralists, are able to get cover, and when there is lack of forage, they get funding. But this program has now really grown. It's much bigger, and we seriously hope to see more and more pastoralists getting that cover. So what happens is with this cover, the pastoralists will, whenever there is, both the area yield cover for the farmers and the cover for the pastoralist is also good for it helps them fight the climate change.
Yes.
Because the famine and droughts in those areas are increasing. So if the more insurance cover can be provided, the pastoralists will be able to then take care of the animals and keep them alive until the next rainy season comes.
All right.
Yes.
And it's incredible that the program was successful.
Yes.
And now the World Bank is running with it,
Yes,
replicating it in different regions. In regards to that impact, now when you talk about the numbers in regards to penetration,
yes.
What do projections look like now with some of these interventions?
When we were doing it as an insurance industry and insurance companies, we were doing it, with the Ministry of Agriculture, the Livestock Division, and we were only covering about 2,500 families per county in 14 counties. So that was the number restricted. So if you're we were looking at 30,000 families now with the widening of the cover, support from the World Bank in also providing monetary help, we will be looking at something like 200,000 families being supported.
Wow.
So that means that is an eightfold, nearly sixfold increase in the number of families, but then it will grow as well. I think what would happen is that the more support the families get, then you will suddenly find that their livelihood improves, and obviously they will be able to use the financing in different ways to improve their lives.
Definitely, that's very important. So, and later on, we're gonna go in detail in regard to some of the key tenets, especially climate change, which is a big one. But for 2024 now, we are facing quite a number of headwinds, if I may call them so. First of all, just looking at the projections for the world economy, it's not as strong as it should be. I know Sub-Saharan Africa, they're giving a little bit of a stronger projection, but still yet not to the potential. We've never been the same post-COVID. How is this set to affect the insurance industry this year?
Okay. Well, the local circumstances and also the international economic outlook is not very good, because what's happening is that when you look at the international economic outlook, we've got at least the two wars that are going on. You know, the Russia-Ukraine war, and then we've got this Israeli-Gaza areas, and the shipping is also being affected now by the Houthis. But what is happening is that Kenya used to benefit a lot from the wheat and fertilizers that was coming from Russia and Ukraine. That actually since last year has become very expensive, and we can't always get it because the shipping also was affected. So the cost of fertilizers have gone up, the cost of wheat from that country, the availability of wheat is not there. So we have to source from other areas. But fortunately what's happening is that, as you said, there is an increase. There is, you know, they're looking that as sub-Saharan African countries, our GDP will grow at a slightly faster rate than the Western countries. So we are hoping that we will benefit from, you know, from that GDP growth. We will be looking as an insurers. Obviously, there are two other things that are really affecting us badly. One is the depreciation of the shilling and the rise in interest rates. So what is happening is that we are hoping that we can get the insureds in Kenya specifically to start looking at the value of their assets, because obviously the value of the assets now in dollar terms will be the same, but when it comes to shilling terms, because of the depreciation, the value has gone up. So we hope that they will start insuring at the right amount, right value. Say for example, when you had a second-hand car coming in from Japan, 2 years ago you were paying 600,000 shillings for it. Now you are paying a million shilling for the same car. So what happens is those people who are already owning the car, we need them to relook at the value of their vehicle. So increase the value, and while they will have to pay higher premium, the rate is still the same. We are not increasing the rate. In fact, we are making sure that the rate that we charge, the premium that we charge to the client, is based on the same rate. But obviously, because of the other area that the value will be affected is for businesses. Businesses who have got assets, buildings. You know, you might not increase the value of your building immediately, but if you've got machinery in there, and the machinery is all imported, then you have to start looking at increasing the value, because in case something happens, if you have got a big major claim, then you know the insurers, if they have not increased the value, the claim they will be paid for a much lower amount.
Yes.
So that's something that we have to really tell our insureds that please increase the values.
Definitely.
But generally, I think what is happening is that except for right now, the one area that is being affected badly is because of El Nino. Flooding has taken place. Flooding not on, you hear about flooding in our counties, but floodings in big towns like Nairobi, you will suddenly find that go-downs are inundated with water. And then there is a claim because of that flooding. So the insurers have to obviously be involved.
Definitely.
Yes.
And even when you come back, we'll be looking some of the products which at the foundation of it, you use long-term data to sort of make decisions and calculations. But in between there is so much unpredictability, like the change now in climate, bring up these emerging issues. How is the industry trying to balance all that? So we take a short break right on business today, but when we come back, remember, we are dissecting the insurance industry and what portends for the industry in the year 2024. Stay tuned, we'll return with more.